Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. The final video for Jubilee 32 Boss Battle 2. And again, actually, this stage is probably even worse because at least with the Vengeance team, like, you have a bunch of people hitting you. This is just Yuki. Just Yuki, and that's it. And he ults you like almost every single turn. He doesn't do like an absurd amount of damage because he doesn't have a high attack stat, which nerfs Vengeance already right there. Nerfs Blues, gives himself physical attack, which again, Vengeance can't deal with. He also has crit resistance and pierce resistance, so don't do any of those naturally. So we're down to just 3 teams for this video. I know the last boss battle vid had 4, and it was like half an hour long still, because it's an 8-turn fight, and there's not much I can do about that. But final score, 242-106. Honestly, I can't get much better than that. I really don't see how. Starting hand now is a double blue to green, so it forgoes the orb change from like Tsubasa that Boss Battle 1 has, and it pretty much means that you need to bring Isis. Or, because it's a 1-1-1-2-2-3, you could bring Bride Shuna and you could steal into a 6-hand of somebody, because you could bring her in for these 3 orbs and then steal them. You know, that can work as well. I don't do that in any of the videos, but I guess you can if you want. But yeah, so Idol team, and then Vengeance, and then a sad Veldora Earth-ish team going on. That's all I got for you. Yeah, disclaimers. Your results are gonna suck if you don't have the Idol team. Protection and skill point units. Boom and boom. There you go. And then optimize your magic building for Earth, or whatever team you decide to use that is going to do damage. I don't know. God rest your soul. Let's get started. Alright, so like I said, we're going to bring Isis now, and we're going to use these skill point units, so Soe and Space Milim, therefore guaranteeing that we have 42 points on turn 1, which means we can use both Isis skills, the Orb Change and the Green Buff, turn 1, and then swap her away, which is going to give us a lot of gauge, a lot of points, and it's going to get us, you know, nice, quick, and in a hurry, off to a good start with ults and everything. So if you don't have Isis, 1, I recommend getting her, and 2, bring just another blue orb changer. I think the Space Velzard featured on the Idol banner can do it for you. There's a few other, 4 stars or other units that can do the blue to green orb change as well. I think the Wind Shuna that we get for free when you first start from like bingo board, she does an orb change for that. Bringing a wind unit in the stage, not really the greatest because the enemy is space, but it is what it is. But let's go ahead and start this up. Boom. So turn 1, we're going to use both Isis skills, and we're going to move on with our life. And then because of the 3-2-1, you want Mirai in that first slot because she's going to do the most amount of damage. Shizuka, because it's no longer an AoE stage, she becomes less relevant and less dependent on having her ult. You really want those 2 single targets from Shuna and Mirai to hit as hard as possible now. So here, good turn. We got a pretty good orb change, which we're just going to use Rimuru for. And since we no longer have to deal with having to have Lumi up here, I did try Lumi in place of Isis, in place of Tsubasa, and it kind of works and kind of doesn't. It's one less unit that's invincible. The attack buff you can use multiple times. It works and it doesn't work at the same time. So let's just put it that way. But if it's what you got, it's what you got. She's a fine substitute because it is permanent stacking ult damage. Crit right there. Not good for most of the fight, but here he doesn't have his crit resistance yet, so it didn't really matter too much. It actually helped us out more than a bit. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to try and wait it out, I think. Yeah. We're going to try and get EX ults for the ladies, or at least very close to it. And then next turn, we'll go ahead and full nuke like we did on Boss Battle 1. That way we get 2 full power, like the synergy power and the attack buff It's just that with Tsubasa here, and Yuki being a single target ult, it's not stacking Tsubasa's buff as quickly as I would like. So it is unfortunate. We're going to bring her in now, and then use Rimuru, and then we'll bring Shizuka in next turn. So here, we'll just use the Future Hand for funsies. It enhances the amount of damage our greens does, which is nice. But here we go. We get an EX ult from Mirai, almost an EX ult with Shuna. So I really wish one of those Tsubasa or that Tsubasa orb was a Shuna orb, but it is what it is. And then next turn we'll use the Tsubasa buff, and we'll use the Shuna buff in full nuke. And we got a full hand of Mirai, which actually is good for our damage, and it allows us to get her back close to another ult after this turn is over. So here, Tsubasa buff is only at 40%, so we're missing 20% total. Not great, but you know, better than nothing, right? So Shizuka will come in. No, actually, we're gonna, I think, leave it because I want Tsubasa's buff to go down in cost. I think that's the smart thing to do here. Hopefully, I was smart about it. I don't know. Was I smart about it? Find out today on Dragon Ball Slime. I don't know. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, me. I was so brain dead last night after doing this for, like... I don't know if you guys know this, but Jubilee days and recording days are really rough. It's like 5 or 6 hours of me sitting here and trying the same run over and over so I can get a good first run with the actual meta, and then I gotta do all the alt teams, and it's like at least 5 hours each of recording and just sitting here and going slowly numb in my brain. Okay, I swap in Isis, I guess, to lower her green cost next turn. 187 there for Shuna, 492 for Mirai. Okay, it's fine damage. If we were able to get, 2 EX ults, the guard, of course, because why wouldn't we have a nice turn? Thankfully, he does nuke into Mirai, who is invincible, and then only hits Isis once. But let's use the green buff again, that way it's active for the next couple turns, and then we'll bring... we gotta get Tsubasa's buff lower cost, because it needs to be 40. Otherwise, we're not able to use both that and the Shuna buff on the final nuke turn. So we do have to keep it a little low. So I'm thinking right here, I'm still thinking. Okay, we bring Shizuka in just to get a stack on her, and then we'll use the Mirai live mode buff, and this will get her ult, and then she can exist in the back for then. And then we can bring Tsubasa in sometime next turn to get her lowered. So she still has a synergy buff. Cool, awesome. We have natural synergy right there, unless we naturally synergy all of it. We may have done that. Alright, but we have the ult. We have 3 ults, but Shizuka's going away, so it doesn't really matter. And then we have a whole bunch of Shuna orbs, which, because we're going to change these into greens, that guarantees that we have her EX ult. The one Mirai orb will give us her EX ult, and it'll be looking pretty good. We'll use the Shizuka buffs, and then this as well, which I actually didn't mean to use that alt swap right there, because I wanted to swap Shizuka away first, but we got lucky and it didn't hit her, which means that we are free to swap her out, and that gives us 5 Shuna orbs. So we got very incredibly lucky right there. We could have just swapped her away and then used the alt swap, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But there we go, 2 EX alts. We've got the normal ult for Shizuka in the back, and then the 2 EX ults here. We've been stacking pretty consistently, and we still have another turn to go. And now that we don't have another ult, we can, again, freely orb chain, or orb alt swap with Shuna, and we'll be looking pretty good. So, no, I don't want you in right now. Don't want you in right now, because we want to make sure that we can use the attack buff on our 2 single target nukers. So we're just going to do what we need to do here. So live mode, and then the alt swap for 25. Sure, okay. I mean, whatever works. In whatever order I decide needs to happen. But let's get the swap, and then let's use the future hand just for the extra damage from the green orbs, just for funsies. And then we'll go ahead and send this. And that gets us max points, 2 full gauges of Rimuru, so that's another, what, 24% magic damage buff on everybody when we're ready to go. So we're going to look pretty good. And thankfully, we have a Tsubasa Orb. That was very lucky. Very lucky we got a Tsubasa Orb, and the rest of them are Mirai's, because obviously Mirai's going to do the most damage. So there's the attack buff. We'll bring Shizuka in. We'll use her ult first because she lowers magic resistance. Unfortunate that we don't have an EX ult for her, but it is what it is. She hasn't gotten the most stacks anyways. We'll use the synergy buff for everybody, and then we'll put these 2 stacks of Rimuru on, and we will call it a day. To make this run go even better, I mean, we would have to have 2 EX ults on the first nuke turn with Mirai and Shuna, and then we would need 3 EX ults here on this turn with all 3 of the girls. 629 right there, and then 1 million, and then the follow-ups orbs put us over 4 million total damage for boss battle 2. So, not a bad run. Definitely room for improvement, but I just can't be bothered at this point. Almost 4.5 million, actually. So there we go, and that puts us at our final score of 242-106. So, again, there is room for improvement if you want to try this team and you have the abilities necessary to do it, if you want to RNG it, but I think that's pretty good. So let's move on. Oh look, a Vengeance team with Earth Mirren, because she's magic and she has type advantage. Yeah. Yom will take care of our turn 1 orb change. We're back to the big 3 protection units. We've brought Traya again, and then we have Erin free to play because she's also Earth, and she's also the Orange Orb Changer, which makes her doubly useful. And then we have Raphael again to help us, and we're gonna blast through this at like 1.5 times speed or something like that, because you know what needs to happen here. He attacks you even less, though, which means that you're not going to get nearly as many Vengeance stacks from Yuki as you are on Boss Battle 1, because you have 3 people hitting you, and AoE ults, and all of that is raising your Vengeance counters. And here, he's got a single target attack, and he might hit you like 3 times or something, but it's not going to work that well. So, Yom Orb Change into a full 6-handed greens. We'll bring in our Earth units and Raphael. So there's 1 hit, there's 2, 3, and 4 hits, so cool. Perfect, we got Traya, so we can take you out. Technically, we could have used a few things there, but we only have 77 points, and we got to use this. So we have just enough to use the double orb change, and then the Vengeance with the physical resistance. And then we'll activate Belzard, and then we're pretty much off to the races here, so... yeah, Vengeance. Pray you get hit a lot. Pray you get some counters or something. Like, pray that you actually want him to counterattack you, because you want every single little stack of Vengeance you can get out of this. So another orb change with Yom. Perfect. That's the only thing we need to do. And then we can use his Vengeance. Yep, perfect. And then we can bring Raphael in. And then we can use his 2 skills for Vengeance and Sealing, and we get the element resistance. Or no, we get the continuous heal instead. Alright. And then Vengeance. Whatever works. And then we'll apply Vengeance to them too. So now everyone will be able to heal a little bit, just for funsies. Healing doesn't reduce the amount of damage taken in your final score. It's still going to calculate that regardless, but it'll help your HP remaining score, which is much less impactful. But, you know, it's something, right? So another pretty good hand right here. Raphael has no orbs whatsoever, so ideally I should have used his Vengeance skill before swapping him out, but oh well, I kind of make a misplay there. So I could have gotten 3 more stacks of Vengeance, but we'll put the continuous heal on Yom instead. It is what it is. So full hand of Earth though is nice, because that's, you know, super weak point. So how are you guys doing? I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. It's Vengeance. It's turned your brain off, kind of winning. Hope you guys are having a good day. Jubilee is always a pain. It's always not the most greatest thing in the world, but it is guaranteed crystals, and I do get, you know, 5 videos out of it. Yeah, man. I don't know what to talk about. I'm out of brain power at this point. I think I talked about it in the last video, but like Jubilee, man. Jubilee recording days are real rough. I totally forgot to eat lunch the last 2 days because I've just been sitting here from like 10 a.m. to like 5 p.m. just straight up recording runs and trying to get everything working and making sure that the teams I'm trying to build for you are, you know, at least okay. I mean, this one was especially difficult because there are no really good Earth units except for Guy, who is incredibly nerfed here. So I try. It's not great, but I gotta use what I got, right? So orb change with Trias, and then the Aaron orb change will work as well, and then we'll bring in Yom for some vengeance. Man, can't wait to be done. This is the second to last clip, and then we have some funny stacking Veldora team next. I don't know, man. I don't know. Losing my mind over here. It's 5 days to Christmas, though, as of recording this. It's the 20th of December. Hopefully you guys have some good Christmas plans if you celebrate Christmas. We got lucky here, where we can just bring in Raphael for Yom and not have to use an orb change, so that's cool. But I hope you guys have a good Christmas. Hope you guys have a good New Year's. If you're watching right now, then this will be fun for you, but I'll do the mapping stream, where all I do is I just kind of chat with you guys and I pin you guys on the map. I'll do that probably next week in between Christmas and New Year's. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And we should also have the new meta coming out in roughly a week. I think a week from today, as of recording this, we will get the live stream information. So maybe I'll do the pinning stream on Tuesday the 26th, right after Christmas. Or maybe I'll do it Friday, the 22nd. I don't really know yet. I told you guys I would do it sometimes before New Year's, and I will hold true to that. Just got to find a good date in between the holidays, because obviously we're not going to do it on Christmas Day or New Year's Day, because no one's going to be here to watch it, and I ain't going to be here to do it. So, got to find some time to do it in between, where we're not overlapping with other streams, like the content drops. So we almost hit 1 million damage there. If we had had that last 3 stacks, we probably would have hit 1 million, but very, very worse score, because he's not hitting you nearly as much as Boss Battle 1. But if you got the Vengeance team, then sure, go ahead and bring it. Let's move on to the final one. Alright. So we've got Veldora, and we've got Aaron, who's orb changing, Dark Milim, who's alt buffing and orb changing, and Isis, who's orb changing. We've got old Earth Lumi, and then we've got the new Mirai. So this is like you have Mirai, but you don't have anybody else, and you don't want to bring Tsubasa. So it can work. Can work. You're stacking magic damage. Everyone here is magic. We've got, 3 Earth units technically. Mirai is able to guarantee future hands with her skill, and she's able to give us, very, very small stacking attack buffs. It can work, Can being the key word. We're not running the skill point units, so we just are going to use the Isis orb change and call it a day. But here, I mean, I'm not even worrying about getting EX alts from Mirai. As soon as I get alts, we're sending them. Like, I just want damage. I also don't even have the team set up properly, so we gave Aaron 3 orbs instead of like giving it to Mirai or Lumi. So definitely not optimized, but at this point I think I had lost my mind a little bit. So we got a decent orb change, so we can do Aaron here, and then we can do the full hand, or the live mode, for the greens. As long as you send greens, the attack buff can go anywhere. And I think I should swap out, yeah. So we're going to use the Isis buff, and then we're going to swap in Dark Milim for Isis and use her orb change. So Lumi and Mirai obviously are going to be our main damage dealers, because they're single targets, and they're summonable, for one. Much better than free-to-play Aaron. So this will get Lumi's ult, and then some. And then we'll just have to work on getting other alts for other people. Crit right there. He doesn't have his crit resistance, which, fine. Whatever. This hand, also not great, but we can still get out of it because we have 3 orb changers on the team. So that's nice. So Milim Orb Change, we can bring Isis back in. We'll use her, we'll use Veldora to reset her costs, and then we'll bring Aaron in. And I can't remember if this gets us Mirai's ult or not. I don't know if it does, to be perfectly honest with you. But we'll use live mode again because we've reset it, and we'll use the magic buff anyways because it's got magic resistance down. By this point, Veldora has already given us more magic damage than what Valentine's going to give herself. But the magic resistance down will help everybody here because it'll just help us do more damage overall. We pierced, again, not, it's okay still until he starts getting his resistance up. And then he's going to ult us. Alright, cool. 4,000 damage. There's his ult. Still no ult for Mirai, though. And we're not going to get an ult from Mirai. But the game just doesn't want to give us greens, so we're forced to orb change a whole bunch, which thankfully we have the ability to do so. It's just kind of unfortunate that it works out like this. So let's use the future hand of greens here, and then we'll use both of I think we'll use the green buff from Isis, and then we'll use Veldora to reset, and then we can use Aaron and Isis orb change, and that'll get us to where we need to be. Perfect. And then had to make a cut there because my phone went off. And now Aaron's ult, and then Lumi's ult, 61k, and then the follow-up orbs. Meh. Alright, but there's a future hand of greens right there kicking in, so that works out fairly well. We can bring Mirai back in, we can reset everything, we can use live mode, and making sure that the Isis buff is still active right now, so it's good. We don't need to use that again. We'll use Veldora, give everyone the magic buff. We'll use Mirai's live mode. Probably another future hand of greens while we're at it. Yeah. Perfect. And this should get everybody's ult. Yeah, everybody's ult. Perfect. And then I think we send Aaron away because I want to use the ult buff with Milim more than sending Aaron's ult. Or we just send it anyways. Whatever works. Magic buff. And then Veldora. Are we not going to? Live. Oh, no. Feature hand. Feature hand. Live mode. Oh, look at all this. Look at all this. I mean, technically I could have used his ult denial too. That would have been kind of fun. Oh well. So we don't use the Milim ult buff. So we haven't used that at all yet. So maybe if you want to get some more damage out of here, you could do that. Alright, we pierced there. Now is not the time for piercing or critting, because he's got his resistance up now. Alright. Got 2 turns left. We got a Lumi ult. And I kind of want to save that. So I think we can get all 3 ults here. We play it right. So let's get Milim in here for Lumi, and we'll save that ult in the back. And then we'll just use Milim's orb change, or Aaron's orb change, because it's low cost. And then this should get us all 3 ults, because that one boosted green should give us Mirai's ult from sending 6. And we will also get some magic damage here. So, live mode for that little extra attack buff on 2 of them, and perfect, it does. So then, we have 3 ults, which means we can swap Milim out for Lee, because she'll have an ult to swap to begin with, and then we'll just use the ult buff from her and then get her out of there. And we have a whole hand of, well, almost a whole hand of Lumi orbs. So, ult buff for Milim, Lumi comes in for Milim, and yeah, Lumi comes in for Milim because I was worried about that blue, but the blue's going to get swapped. Now we have an orange, which we have Aaron, and now we use the magic resistance, and then live mode, future hand for extra damage on greens, and then we'll use Veldora to reset that, and then we'll use the live mode just to get that extra, 6% attack right there on everybody. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll put us over 1 million. So 70k right there, 133, 187, and then the follow-up puts us at 1.4 million damage. It's not great, but it's better than the Vengeance team, right? Better than the Vengeance team. So there's a foe stacking Earth green team. Now let's see what happens when you have no Earth units. Alright, so what happens? You have no Earth units. You are, yeah. You gotta use what you got. So a green stacking team, right? Veldora making his comeback. Dark Milim as well, and Isis, because she's built for the stage. Free-to-play Trya, Octogram Lumi, and Dark Shinsha, one of the rare units that I don't have at level 100. But we'll have the magic damage from Veldora, the alt damage from both Milim, and the permanent alt damage from Lumi, and then we'll have the dark attack from Shinsha, and, you know, I don't really think we need to stay here for the entire run, because we're not even type advantage. There's no real thought power to this, it's just greens and alts and stacking with this Lumi and resetting everything, so forgive me if I try and cut this video down a little bit by not showing you this entire run. We are using the skill point units again, so we have enough to use both Isis skills, and then we'll go ahead and send it. Again, I didn't even optimize it because, you know, Dark Milim wasn't in the first slot. Guarded that last hit anyway, so it didn't really fucking matter, now did it? So, alright. We gotta get some stacks with Lumi. She's skill fused, so she needs 4 stacks to get to full power, which we will definitely have time for because Veldora is going to reset all of the costs, and we can consistently keep her at 25. You know, makes it a little bit easier than the Idol team. I guess I didn't really do a run with Veldora leading the Idols, huh? Maybe that would have been something. Oh well. If you have it, try it out. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have done that instead of like the Earth 2.0 team or something. Oh well. It is what it is. I don't really think that team would have worked very well anyways, because we only have 1 orb changer on that team. Yeah, no, maybe it's better I didn't do that. I mean, you could bring Isis still anyways, but eh. Give it a shot, I guess. But yeah, this is the name of the game. We're resetting, we're stacking for the next 6 turns, and yeah, if you've got to use this, then obviously you're not really giving it your full attention anyways, right? Because you're like, I don't even have Earth units, I'm not going to get a score, I just want a team that can give me something, and so I can complete the missions and then call it a day, and that's really I care about. So we're going to skip ahead to second to last turn. Last turn. Cool. Sorry. If you guys actually wanted to watch that, I apologize, but I'm assuming that by the time of this video, where it's almost half an hour long, you probably aren't here anymore anyways. So, except for the diehards, I appreciate you guys. I know you're not. I know you're watching this just for funsies. I appreciate you regardless. All right. By now we're fully stacked with Lumi, so we don't need her in front anymore. The dark attack is maxed out. Veldora is maxed out. We'll get the alt buff from Milim, and she'll give everybody the dark attack because she is skill fused. We'll do the orb change to make sure we can get a full hand of greens and a 200% orb, and then we'll go ahead and send this. We're at 740k, so good damage there. Shinsha 187. And then Milim does 250, so about 1.4 million again. Yeah, 1.4 million, so almost equal to the last team we did with Veldora, so sure, that works, I guess. But there we go. There's teams for Boss Battle 2 for Jubilee, and that will do it for Jubilee 32. And I'll see you guys next month for another mind-numbing Jubilee video. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.